Welcome to Stuff Works Explained. In today's video, we'll be talking about the project Oil Kenya. If it's your first time here, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. For the repeat viewers, we thank you for the support that you have accorded this channel throughout. Kenya announced the discovery of a commercially viable oil deposit in Turkana in 2012, and since then there has been several events which have taken place. In this video, we'll look at these events that have taken place since the announcement, the production delays. We are going to look at factors which have caused the delays and the measures which have been taken to address these challenges, and what has happened in Project Oil Kenya in the recent past. Following the discovery of commercially viable oil in Turkana, Tullow Oil embarked on extensive exploration and appraisal activities to determine the extent and quality of oil reserves. Exploration involved drilling additional wells to find new deposit of oil, while appraisal activities involved conducting geological surveys to determine the size, shape, and distribution of oil reserves. Once exploration was complete, Tullow Oil moved to the appraisal phase, where it further analyzed the oil reserves to determine their commercial viability. The company conducted detailed tests on oil-bearing formation to determine volume, quality, and flow rates of the oil. The results of these tests helped the company to estimate the size of oil reserves and to assess their commercial potential. Tullow Oil has worked closely with the Kenyan government to ensure that all activities were carried out in compliance with national regulations and international best practices. The company has engaged with local communities to address any concerns they had about exploration and drilling activities, and to ensure that the benefits of oil discovery were shared equitably. The government of Kenya and Uganda signed an agreement to construct an oil export pipeline from the oil fields in Turkana, Kenya to Lamu, which is a coastal town in Kenya. The pipeline was designed to transport oil from both Uganda and Kenya oil fields, providing a route for both countries to export their oil to the international market. However, Uganda eventually decided to opt for an alternative pipeline route through Tanzania instead of one originally planned to go through Kenya. Uganda cited concerns over the security of the pipeline, the distance, as well as the cost and other logistical issues as reasons for this switch. Tanzania route involves construction of 1,443 kilometers pipeline from Ugandan oil fields in Hoima to the Tanzanian port of Tanga on the Indian Ocean, with a projected capacity to transport 216,000 barrels of crude oil per day. The project is being developed by a consortium led by French oil major Total Energies, and is expected to cost around $3.5 billion. Tanzania was able to persuade Uganda to build the East African crude oil pipeline through its country instead of passing through Kenya by offering a more favorable deal. Tanzania government agreed to provide financial incentives and tax breaks to the oil companies involved in the project, and it made more economic sense, and this made Uganda choose it instead of the Kenyan route. Additionally, Tanzania has a shorter distance to the sea compared to Kenya, which reduces transportation costs and risks which are associated with building and operating a pipeline. The Tanzanian government also promised to fast track the necessary permits and approvals and to provide security for the pipeline during the construction and operation. There was also the issue of land incentives, which the companies who are constructing this project were given. Furthermore, the Tanzania route already has some established infrastructure, such as road, that could support the pipeline, whereas Kenya would have needed to build new infrastructure, which would have added the overall cost and time it would have taken to complete this project. All these factors combined made Tanzania a more attractive option for Uganda, and oil companies opted to select this. While the decision to opt for the Tanzania route was seen as a blow to Kenya's ambitions to become an oil exporter, the country has continued to plan on developing its own pipeline infrastructure. In 2020, the Kenyan government signed an agreement with a consortium of companies to build an 820-kilometer pipeline from the Turkana oil fields to the port of Lamu at a cost of $1.1 billion. The pipeline is expected to have a capacity of transporting up to 120,000 barrels of crude oil per day. There has been delay in the production of oil in Kenya, and this has been a major challenge since the discovery of the commercially viable oil reserves in the region. There are several factors that have contributed to this delay. These include this dispute over revenue sharing between the national government and local communities. The communities in Turkana region have been demanding a fair share of revenues generated from the oil production, arguing that they should benefit from the resources in their region. This has led to protests, strikes, and other forms of social unrest which have disrupted production activities. Another factor that has contributed to delayed production of oil in Turkana is technical and logistic challenges in setting up necessary infrastructure, requiring significant investment in infrastructure and technology. This has delayed the project. In addition, there has been concern about environmental impact of oil production in Turkana, particularly in relation to water resources. The oil fields are located in a region that is prone to drought and water scarcity, and there has been fears that oil production could further deplete the already limited water resources in the area. This has led to call for more rigorous environmental impact assessments and measures to mitigate the potential negative impacts of oil production on the local environment and communities. There has been issue of resettlement of affected communities. There are some communities who have been displaced, and the process has been slow, and this has affected the in one way or another in the start of this project Oil Kenya. There has been a delay in submission and approval of Field Development Plan (FDP), and this is one of the documents that is supposed to give way to the company being given approvals and also making the final investment decision. So delays in this submission, because this is supposed to go through a legal process, where it's supposed to be presented to the cabinet secretary who is in charge of oil and gas, and then it goes for debate, public participation, and also goes to the parliament and cabinet for approvals. This process has not been completed, and this has really caused delay in this process. The Total Oil initially planned to submit the FDP to the government in first quarter of 2017. They did this. They were asked to revise. They have revised, and in March 2023, they presented a revised draft, and then currently they are waiting a word from the government. There is also lack of legal infrastructure, which has been a source of delay in starting the oil project in Kenya. Some of the specific laws which needed to be enacted include the Petroleum Exploration and Development Production Bill, which provides legal framework for exploration, development, and production of petroleum products in Kenya. It was first introduced in Parliament in 2012, but was not passed until March 2019. There is also the petroleum regulations, which are supposed to give guidelines for licensing, exploration, and production of petroleum products in Kenya. This was also introduced in 2012, but was not finalized until 2018. There is the local content bill, which aims to ensure that Kenya citizens and companies benefit from the development of the country's natural resources, including the oil and gas sector. It was introduced in Parliament in 2016, but has not yet been finalized. The delay in enacting these laws has contributed to the slow progress of oil project in Kenya. Said not until these laws are in place, some of them are in place now, not until that this process is completed, that we'll see some progress being made as far as this project is concerned. Then there is a question of financial problems, which have been cited as a major factor in the delay of oil project in Turkana, where the operator, Talo Oil, has been experiencing financial challenges that have affected the development of this project. In 2019, the company reported a loss of $1.7 billion, which was mainly due to write-offs related to the Kenyan project. As a result, the company was forced to cut its budget and reduce its workforce, which affected the pace of development of the oil fields. Furthermore, the Talo Oil has been seeking to sell a portion of its stake in the project to raise funds to finance the development of oil fields. However, the company has been facing challenges in finding a buyer for its stake, which has further delayed the project. In addition to financial problems that the Kenya government is facing, budget constraints which have affected the ability to fund the necessary infrastructure for the oil project. This has led to delays in the development of infrastructure needed to transport the crude oil from the Lake Turkana oil fields to Lamu. Financial problems have been a major factor in the delay of oil project Kenya, as both the government and Talo Oil have been facing budget constraints that have affected the development of this project. There is also COVID-19, which has been cited as a cause of delay for this project. The pandemic disrupted the global economy and created significant uncertainty in the oil market, leading to decline in demand and sharp fall in oil prices. Although the prices have eventually improved, this made it difficult for Talo Oil and its partners to attract investors and secure financing for the project, as well as impacting the supply chain and logistics of transporting equipment and personnel to the site. The pandemic also caused delay in the approval process and regulatory procedures which are necessary for the development of the project, as the government and regulatory agencies were forced to shift their focus to containing the pandemic. There are also the volatility of the global prices which have been cited for the delay in this project, where Talo Oil has cited unfavorable global prices since 2014 as one of the reasons for the delay in developing the oil field for commercial production. The low oil prices have made it difficult for oil companies to finance their project and also to make a profit, which may discourage them from investing in new oil fields or expanding the existing one. So what measures have been taken to address some of these challenges? Several measures have been taken to address the challenges which are facing the project oil Kenya. To address the issue of revenue sharing between the national government and local communities, the government has passed Petroleum Exploration Development and Production Bill. This was done in 2019, which allocates a minimum of 20% of oil revenue to local communities. The government has also established Kenya Petroleum and Technical Assistance Project, KPTAP, which, with the support of the World Bank, will help in strengthening the capacity of institutions which are involved in the oil and gas sector. To address the technical and logistic challenges of setting up necessary infrastructure for oil production, Talo Oil and its partners have undertaken various activities which include early oil pilot scheme, which involved testing the market appeal for Kenya crude oil through small-scale export. The scheme was done through transporting crude oil by road from Turkana region to Mombasa for export. The early oil pilot scheme project involved developing 5 existing wells in the Amosing and Gamia fields, which are located in blocks 13T and 10BB, and this saw the transportation of 2,000 barrels per day by road from Turkana to Mombasa. This scheme provided valuable data on the quality of crude oil and also helped to build relationship between the national government, Talo Oil, and local communities. It also served as confidence building measure for investors and demonstrated that oil reserves in Turkana were commercially viable. Talo Oil also plans to invest $10 million in the project, and the government is committed to investing in infrastructure such as road and pipelines as a way of addressing some of the challenges that we have mentioned. There is also the process of searching for the strategic partner. Tullow Oil and Total and other partners in the project have also been searching for a strategic partner to help with the project development plan. The partners need a deep-pocketed investor to mitigate the risks of the multi-million project, which includes building a crude pipeline, processing facility for the oil fields, and other infrastructure. The future of the Turkana oil project in Kenya is dependent on Tullow Oil and its partners finding a strategic investor to help implement a development plan for oil production in Turkana County, and failure to secure a strategic partner would impact the ability to progress the project to the final investment decision, and this would lead to uncertainty as far as the project is concerned. Potential bidders have not been disclosed, but one Indian oil corporate has been linked to the talks of possible acquisition. There's also the submission of the revised FDP, which was done in March 2023, and this revision has seen the capacity of the pipeline increased, and also further investment being needed to actualize this project. The approval, this field development plan need to be approved, and this will allow the joint venture to commence commercial drilling of the crude oil for the two blocks, that is 10BB and 13T in Turkana County. One question that people are asking as far as all this is concerned is whether Kenya will get when Kenya will get its first oil. Tullow Oil aimed at making a final decision, that is FID, on the South Lokisha oil project in Kenya in 2022, but this did not happen. They expected to start production in 2024. We are waiting to see whether this will happen, but given the way events have been unfolding, this might not be possible. However, this is unlikely. It's unlikely that they will start production in 2025 because of the challenges that the company is facing. So Kenya has to wait for longer to become an oil exporter. In summary, we have seen that Kenya announced the discovery of commercially viable oil deposit in 2012, but since then, not much has been done as far as actualizing this oil production has happened. There has been several events which have taken place, including exploration and appraisal activities by Tullow Oil, and this is mainly to determine the extent and quality of the oil reserves. Following the exploration, Tullow Oil has moved to appraisal phase, where it has analyzed the oil reserves further. In 2014, Kenya and Uganda signed an agreement to construct a joint crude oil pipeline from the oil fields in Turkana to Lamu, which is a coastal town in Kenya. However, Uganda eventually decided to opt for an alternative pipeline through Tanzania, citing some various reasons, including environmental, security, cost, and among others. So delays in the production of oil in Turkana has been a significant challenge since the discovery, with disputes over revenue sharing with the national government and local communities, technical and logistical challenges in setting up the facility, COVID-19, the prices, failure to enact laws on time, and failure to get a strategic partner, which is causing some financial problems, being cited as some of the reasons which has caused delay in this project. Total is seeking a strategic investor, but the process has been slow. It has been facing some challenges. According to some reports which are available, Tullow Oil has struggled to attract interest from potential investors due to concerns about the project profitability and the risks which are involved in the oil exploration in Kenya. Despite these challenges, Tullow Oil remains committed to finding a partner to finance exploration in Kenya. The company believes that the project has significant potential, and it's confident that it will eventually find the right investors to support its operation, and Kenya will truly become an oil exporter, but we don't know when this will be. So thank you for watching this video. If it's your first time here, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. For the repeat viewers, we thank you for the support that you have accorded this channel. Thank you.